Hello, GM everyone. How are we all doing today? Hope everyone tuning in is having a very base day. I'm here today live. This is the very first Let's Ride live stream on the BMX account. I'm here today with Deez and Base God. We have Base Disciple here today. Very excited to kick it off with our 125 viewers, and I know this is going to only continue to grow throughout the stream. So very excited to kick off today. This is a very special edition of this stream of Let's Ride. We will be doing a giveaway, you guys. We are giving away a thank you Base God, a Base God NFT today. So I will give you 2 steps to qualify to win. The first step is going to be you're going to need to like and retweet the podcast episode on the BMX account, and I'll share my screen and show you guys. Then at the end, I'll give the second step, but you have to stay tuned in till the end to know how to win that. So real quick, I'll go ahead and share my screen and just show you guys. So on the BMX account, you just scroll down, and it's the very first post here about the podcast. So it says TL too long, didn't watch, wBLT highlights. So you'll need to retweet this post like this. And yeah, I'll give the second step away at the end of the stream here. So without further ado, I want to dive in and just do introductions, go around. Those of you watching most likely know me. I'm Rachel Onchain. I'm a builder in the Base ecosystem. I support BMX and Base Media X through weekly streams and spaces like these. So very excited to kick off and pass it over to Deez.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Deez here, doing a lot of the product development, COO. Really streamlining our marketing and communication here. And that's part of the retweet today. Looking forward to getting the word out of wBLT and how it ties into Base Media X. And just really excited to have the TYBG fam on today.
I know. I'm so excited. I got my thank you, Base God, PFP. We rallied the community over the past several days. And I do think that the crypto Twitter has been a bit more quiet, because to get to the point of traction we got to, it was like a couple days of just grinding and rallying communities. So yeah, interesting times. But Base God, I mean, today is a special day. Just having Base Disciple up. Thank you, Base God was the first community I joined on Base. And I don't know, it was the first thing on Base that really made a light bulb go off to me. Like, the community is very powerful. Everyone's locked in, supportive. And yeah, I'm not going to steal your thunder, Base Disciple, if you want to go through, an introduction and all about thank you, Base God.
Yeah, of course. Thanks. And happy to be here as always. I know we've done a couple of spaces and podcasts together at this point. So always nice to see you. Yeah, I go by Base Disciple. I started the Base God project solo in December of 2023. We don't have a team or any sort of centralization. That's always been like a really big thing for me personally, which I'll get into a little bit later. But the project is one of the like OG meme projects on Base. Especially considering, how long it's been. It's been like 18 months that this project has been live, which in meme time, that's like the equivalent of, I don't know, like 2-3 years. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Like so difficult to keep a meme relevant for that long because, people usually go to catch the new shiny thing every month. So the sort of premise for the project, it's fairly obvious, but it's basically a parody religion, draws on a couple of things from, real life culture, from crypto culture. Obviously, it's launched on Base, which is traditionally everyone's going around saying based, like using that word a lot. What people don't know is that word actually comes from Lil B, who's a rapper.
Yeah.
One of the most influential rappers, in my opinion, of all time. And a lot of people, I think, need to make sure that he gets his flowers. And that's sort of what I wanted to do with the name of the project, just a sort of hat tip to the original Based God, but also another homage to Coinbase and Brian Armstrong and all of the work that they've done to really drive trust within the crypto community. You have to take yourself back to 2023 and sort of remember, like, we were coming out of a bear market where FTX and even like CZ ended up getting jail time. And there were a lot of other people who, in religious terms, were like false prophets. And so the sort of premise for making a parody religion was like, look, what if we just had like a deity for Base, and the deity was bald and resembled the Coinbase CEO. And here we are, where a lot of the meme is just usually making bald jokes, having fun, and also pushing based culture. So what does it mean to build on Base, build with positive intent, try to not take any shortcuts, follow whatever rules there may be, and none of the stuff that you would see from a lot of other projects as it relates to, I don't know, supply control or KOLs being in charge of your destiny, or any other like fancy stuff that is not obvious to people who are participating. So making sure that we lead with fairness, making sure that everyone's having a good time, and honestly just making funny memes and funny content. So the project, like I'd mentioned, went live in December. It's my first and only project that I ever launched in crypto. So that's also something that's pretty rare. Like I'm not like a serial dev or someone who's done this a bunch of times. I was really, really heavy in the trenches in 2021. I was like there and lived it the first time Shiba pumped to like 20 million market cap, and everyone went crazy and started launching a bunch of dog coins and all this stuff. So I'm just really in touch with meme culture, and I always told myself, like, if I ever wanted to launch a project, I wouldn't want it to be something that sort of like comes and goes. Like I'd want it to have staying power. And a lot of people, in order to get something right, they usually need to do trial and error and abandon a project and try a new one. And I just didn't want to have that experience with people, because I think what people underestimate, and we saw this a lot with like recently with all the coining drama, it's like when you launch something, like people have expectations, and people put hopes into your project, and it really sucks if you have to bail on that for whatever reason. So I'm really happy that Base God has stuck around for as long as it has. And there's sort of like the Lindy effect, where the longer something sticks around, the more likely it is going to continue to stick around. And that's sort of where we're at right now. So anytime someone thinks of Base, or at least Base memes, we're usually in the conversation for anyone who's been around a while. And that's always fun. So we launched in December 2023. And about a month after that, the NFT collection went live, which was really like came out of nowhere. That I've never done an NFT collection. I wasn't like super into NFTs, but someone in the community, again, we don't have a team. Someone in the community wanted to do it, and so we collaborated for a few weeks and got it live literally like 1 month after launch, which is crazy. And since then, it's been one of the more valuable NFT collections. It's been a staple. There aren't a ton of them. There's only 809, and 2 of them are burned. And there's a lot of lore that we can go into around the NFTs, but it's been super cool to see how those have persisted over the past year plus. And there's a ton of other stuff that we can get into, but that's just like a general overview, at least to kick us off of how the project got started.
Wow. Well, hats off to you. I mean, this is your only project, and you've absolutely nailed it. Just a meme that's been so ingrained in Base culture. I mean, you've seen Jesse talking about this. Like, so many people on the Base team are so bullish on Thank You, Base God. I think you've really gotten the community very excited and have created something that's lasted for quite some time. And I'm still just as excited about it as the first day I found out about it. So that's a very special kind of formula you put together for this. Also, by the way, I want to shout out all the people watching now. We have a significant amount of viewers. We got Maximus Migalis. Shout out to Maximus Migalis. Monsters. We got Bruce Wayne, Recon, and also we have our friends Gist and Spiral, who will be coming up towards the end to ask some questions and come hang out with us. So yeah, after just hearing your overview, Base Disciple, I do have some extra questions for you. Real quick, I do want to share my screen and show what inspired the meme. So for those of you that don't know Lil B, this is the song, right? Think I'm Base God.
Yeah, he goes by Lil B the Base God, and everyone like over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, he was huge, like super influential on me. And I love his music and just how like positive he is. And he like everyone was saying thank you, Base God, for a long time, like early 2010s. And I think crypto culture sort of adopted the word based, and it got used a lot in like different contexts that I think people kind of lost the origin point of it. And so that was something for me that I felt was important for Base to at least acknowledge. And obviously you can't launch like a little Bitcoin, or like I didn't want to do something like that, but just like a hat tip or something that we can always talk about, so that people make sure that he gets his flowers because they're well deserved.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know the origin and what inspired this all. I am curious, like, what first drew you into Base? Like, do you remember the moment you first heard about Base, Coinbase? Like, what was that like for you? I'm curious.
Yeah. So obviously, everyone knows Coinbase, and they're just a power player and like industry leader, very trusted, especially within the US. And when I first heard about Base, I don't even know exactly what it was. I think it's just like randomly on the Twitter feed, like I saw something about it, and then I sort of like did some digging just to see like what was there, and I noticed that I think at that time the only memes were like Toshi and Mochi because those launched right when Base went live, and those were like cool, and there wasn't like a ton of other meme activity on the chain. And so part of what I wanted to do, knowing Coinbase and also getting the vibe of the Base team and looking at like Jesse's Twitter for a while, just like lurking, I got an energy that they were leaning into a lot of like on-chain art and things that were cool, but also not
Culture.
it was like cool, but it was missing the like, look, if you're not in the meme game, like, I'm sorry, like you're missing out on a massive part of the market. I would actually argue, and obviously I'm a meme maxi, but I think the data backs this up. Memes are one of the only categories that have mainstream product market fit in crypto. Like full stop.
Wow.
Like anyone who doesn't acknowledge that, I think is kind of kidding themselves. Like I think that DeFi and exchanges and all that are great, but they also cater more to like crypto natives. Whereas if I was going up to my friends and I say, hey, like, do you want to look at this picture of like a dog with a hat? Like they just get it. And so it's a really important sector of the industry, and seeing Base not really like participating in it much was part of the mission with Base God. And so for anyone who's like super OG and was a part of the ride in like December and January of that year, we did a lot to get Jesse's attention. We made a lot of custom content and videos that were just really funny and like shit posts, and they made him laugh. And eventually, like he started to pay a little bit more attention to us. And then we came out with the NFT collection, which is when he like really started to engage more, and that opened the floodgates for meme culture on Base. I mean, anyone who was there knows that like after that point, he and the team started engaging way more with other memes, and we had a bunch of memes launch in like February, March of last year, and that actually kicked off the first real like Base season. And so I'm not going to take like full credit for it, but we did a lot to move the needle on that, and so that was really cool. And part of my inspiration again for launching on Base was like, look, how can we create something that is a meme that's Base friendly, it's compliant, it's not doing anything sketchy, it's something that people could rally behind, and it promotes positivity, and it's not extractive, it's not flash in the pan, and it's something that can change people's minds as far as like the Base and like Coinbase teams to have a meme culture on Base. That was really like a big part of it.
I mean, you've done it. And also, like, okay, I've been, adjacent and in different meme communities. Thank You Base God was the first community where I immediately was just laughing. Like it was actually funny coming in and seeing like the head bombing, like, kind of cult video or GIF that comes up. Like I genuinely sat in that chat and just laughed my butt off. Like I think for the first hour I was in there, I was like, this is awesome. This is where I want to be. And that just, led me down a rabbit hole of getting involved in different Base communities. But I think it was like the fact that it's genuinely funny. Like it actually made me laugh, and it made me want to stick around and talk with people. And, there's just awesome people in the Thank You Base God community. Shout out to OX Gauji, who's here sharing some comments in the audience. Yeah, there's so many others too that I connected with who are just genuinely good people who are there for the memes, the culture, the vibes, and everything about it just made me want to stick around. And my entry point into Base was, connecting with Cryptic Poet. And obviously, Cryptic Poet wears, his PFP, his Thank You Base God PFP. So, just going a little deeper into the lore, it just got me excited about Base. So,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's funny you mentioned the like. I think a lot of memes. To me, a meme is obviously just like a cultural experience and like a community and like all that stuff. But going back to like most internet memes, like they're funny. And there's a lot of memes out there that aren't really like funny, which is fine, by the way. Like everyone has their own taste of like whatever they like. Some people would say that we're not funny and we're cringe or whatever. Like someone could say that and like I wouldn't fault them for it. But
art is subjective.
It's like
so is like humor.
Yeah, like it's so important for me personally. Like I think humor breaks through like a lot and it differentiates. And like we're not a animal coin, we're not a Pepe derivative, we're not like it's a very niche meme. But a lot of the content is like so over the top, like absurd, that it just kind of makes you laugh. And I think that's really why people have stuck to it, because you'll draw a lot of your best memories are typically going to be around like funny times that you've had or things of that nature. So yeah, super important to have just like funny content and a community that really gets the joke and is able to run with it.
Absolutely. And by the way, I'm getting some comments here. So just as a reminder, you guys, we are giving away a Base God NFT today. I don't know if you guys understand like the value of that. Like I have my eyes on the Base God NFT collection for so long. And these are not cheap NFTs. Like the floor has gone up since I first discovered the project. So we are giving one away today on behalf of Meowposaurus, who generously gifted me one to give away on the space today. So the first step of this giveaway, you guys, you have to go to the BMX account and you have to retweet the podcast that we have on the BMX account. So once you do that, then you're halfway there. And at the end of the space, I will share the second step, but you have to stay on till the end to hear the second step. Oh, we got dibs on the Base God. I mean, hey, if you did the steps, I mean, we'll see how many people actually do it at the end. It might not be that competitive. So yeah, there's a big opportunity here, you guys. I mean, this is one of the biggest culture NFT collections on Base. So
yeah, I think I want to say we were like one of the first to have like a 1 ETH floor. And it's still like hovering around that. So yeah, it's like free money.
Some of them are way higher than that. I've seen some on there for like 10 ETH. Like, yeah. I don't know the value of the one I'm giving away today. I should probably look at that, but it's Base God number 5, you guys. I mean, that's pretty cool to have one of the first, the 5th Base God. So, yeah, so excited about that giveaway. And, just to dive deeper into the questions here and Base God lore, we talked about the project, but I'm curious to hear, Base Disciple, your favorite, this is a question from Deez. What's your favorite Bald Hollow moment? So your favorite moment on the project, if you have one.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, Bald Hollow is what we refer to as like heaven. It's sort of like the promise at the end of the line for being a good disciple. When when the rapture comes, you'll be carried into Bald Hollow and given a fully hairless body. So there's been a lot of like really cool moments with this project that I never foresaw coming. I mean, you like launch something and you're like, oh, it'd be really cool if like this, that, and the third happened. But the obvious one that stands out was last year. Like when we had launched, it was like, if we could get Jesse's attention, that would be incredible. And I think people need to understand at the time, Jesse was not interacting with memes, and it was like it was just not the world that you see today, where he's engaging with like every single thing under the sun on Base. Like it wasn't that. So that was really cool. But the next level to that of getting a Brian interaction was like, I was like, there's just no chance in hell. Like that, it's not even worth like talking about or joking about, because it's just not going to happen. And sure enough, when Coinbase released their earnings from Q4 of 2023, that was in like February of 2024, they tweeted it from the Coinbase account, and it was a graphic, and it had like all of their numbers from the quarter and the full year and how it went. And our Twitter account, we responded under it, and we were like, hey, can we mint this graphic on Base? It's just like a simple question, whatever. and I went out. I went to like walk my dog or something, and I totally forgot like that we even tweeted that. And a couple hours went by, and then I was like watching some trash TV and get an alert that Brian had responded to that tweet. He quote tweeted
Whoa.
with a link to mint the graphic on chain on Base. And
Wow.
first of all, that's crazy because like it wasn't even like we replied to him. Like he just did it, which is sick. And then also like that started the sort of pattern of Coinbase minting their earnings on chain. So that was the first time, and maybe they were going to do it anyway, obviously, but like, yeah, that was the first time, and they've continued to do that every quarter when they've gotten their earnings.
I'm looking for this now.
It's on I can send you the link, but it's,
yeah, I would love to share
you
this.
search,
That's crazy.
yeah.
I didn't know that Brian Armstrong had interacted with AQ Base. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people don't know, like, we have some insane history, and I think people, it's I always joke in our Telegram chat, like people will do so much like conspiracy and like searching for like signs and astrology of of meme coins, and like, oh, this means that like such and such is buying and such is going to shill it, and like we have stuff that's real that is unique to this project that no one's ever done. So not only did Brian interact that time, but he also interacted a couple months later when he replied to, like, he was asking for headlines around like when the SEC case was going on. He asked for people to send like funny headlines about like trying to spin it in the SEC's favor. And so we replied with one, and he did like the laughing emoji back to us. So we're the only Base meme that he's like full on like directly interacted with the Twitter account. And he did it twice.
Wow.
Which is just like really cool. And like he didn't have to do that. And I know, like, you know, a lot of people take those types of things and run with them. So like we try not to make it weird, but like it's a really fun part of the history that he was able to engage and show some love to Base memes. I think a lot of people will say like, oh, you know, a big complaint that people would hear last year was like Coinbase or Base doesn't interact or support memes or whatever. That's just not true.
I feel the same exact way. They have been stepping up and supporting Base builders and projects. Like it's so frequent now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's a cope. And like, look, you know, there are plenty of things that could have been done differently last year to generate more energy on Base, which like we don't have to get into, but we don't have a time machine. The one thing that I will say though is like they've always been supportive of memes, and all the way to like, again, Brian engaging with one. Just because it's not the one that you hold doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And so that's sort of like what people need to remember. So anyway, that was definitely like the biggest that was the biggest moment of like earlier last year. We also had a really fun one in January of this year where for anyone who doesn't know, there's a bald list, which we'll get into a little bit more. But the idea is that you make a pledge for like a goal. A lot of people will have a goal of like, you know, the token hitting a certain market cap or something like that.
Oh wait, Jesse did that.
Yeah, and so Jesse made one early last year, which was for Coinbase or for Base TVL to hit $10 billion on I think it was like on L2 beat was the metric that he was using. And we hit that at the end of last year. And so he ended up shaving his head bald, which is what you do.
I have a video about this, you guys. I'm going to share my screen really quick and show you guys.
Go for it.
Let me see if I can bring this up.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I didn't even realize this got a lot of engagement back then. This is a big thing, you guys. Like this is live streamed. Let me see. If you guys can hear the volume on this video, let me know. Can you hear it?
No, but it's all good. I mean, it was really cool. It was live. So like his barber, he actually paid in I think USDC. And like his barber's on chain. And so actually after this happened, Huli, who is the head of Coinbase Ventures, also had a that he made. And it's funny because like he did a random podcast, and in the podcast he like made a joke that like, oh, like, you know, we joke on the team at Coinbase Ventures that if we hit like a certain goal this year, then like I'll shave my head bald. And I literally just happened to watch that. Am I bald?
Whoa, we have a question. Luciana's asking, are you bald, Base Disciple?
I'm not, and I'm not gonna LARP. I'm not gonna LARP and say that I am. Like, I'm not, and that's, look, we're all sinners, okay? And so there's no shame in that, but we all have our ways of worship and reaching Baldhalla. So I'm also like,
the rapture's coming now.
yeah. Like, I think that I've hopefully done enough to make our Savior proud. That
you have done more than enough. You have
so,
definitely made up for it.
So Hooli, the head of Coinbase Ventures, he was on this podcast. I randomly saw the podcast. It like wasn't sent to any of us, and I saw it on the Twitter feed. And he said, he made this joke about going bald, and so like we tagged him on Twitter and we're like, hey, like, are you sure about that? And he said that
we'll
he would
hold
go
you
bald.
to it.
Right? He said he would go bald when Jesse went bald, and so sure enough, like right after Jesse shaved, he also did a live stream, and both of those, if you go on our website, you can see links to the tweets.
Now I'm looking this up. Okay, and we will, by the way, shout out to Trippy. By the way, I heard Trippy speak on a Twitter space. It was pretty trippy, you guys. I heard his voice for the first time. Shout out to Trippy. And by the way, I would love for people to join. We have some of our friends and community members actually in the waiting room to join us on this stream. So Trippy, I'll drop this link for you if you want to come up, ask any questions, vibe with us. I'll get you a link to the stream. And I want to also pass it over to Deez. I know, Deez is super active on the BMX side of things, but the BMX and Thank You Base God culture, it definitely intersects. And, we have Meowphosaurus on the BMX team, who's been a massively loud supporter of Thank You Base God. So Deez, I'm not sure if you have any questions or anything you want to add here.
I was just saying that was my favorite Baldhalla moment for sure. I was working out and I just could not believe that I was watching Jesse shave his head, and his stream cut out for a second, and I was like, that has to be the greatest rug of all time, is his live stream cutting out.
Well, it was funny because we were like, one of our phrases that we always say, and it's in the like intro video on the website, is, do you have something against bald people? Which is just like, it's like a retort to like any situation that you're in and you need a comeback. All you have to say is, do you have something against bald people? So people were tagging Elon when the stream cut out and they were asking if he had something against bald people. But yeah, that was a funny moment.
Gosh, yeah, it was unreal. And first time I had to really pause everything. It held me hostage until it was over. I took so many screenshots of him going, always like, this is going to be worth something someday. But yeah, I guess before we get in, I forgot at the beginning, but yeah, of course, the disclaimer from Based Hoven here is none of the stuff we talk about today is financial advice. You guys know the drill. It's educational content only. But yeah, just happy to be here. I think I went bald on the live stream here. I posted a little shaved thing in the comments here.
Okay, let's check it out. And by the way, if you're watching the live stream, we can see all your comments coming through. So if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to see, if you want to see one of us, shave ourselves bald, let us know in the comments, you guys. Shave your head. Let's go to Baldhalla. Okay, by the way, for those of you in the Thank You Base God community, I'm sending a message right now. If anyone wants to join our live stream and actually come on StreamYard with us, let me know, and I would love to have some of you on here. I will drop the link if you DM me on Telegram, Twitter. I'm keeping my eyes open. So, community members join. Okay, awesome.
While you're, and I know Deez, you had some, I think a question or something, but one thing I actually wanted to mention, since you brought up Meowphosaurus, he joined our community right after the NFTs launched. And I just want to say, like, shout out to him, huge supporter. It's funny, like, someone came to me and thought that he started the project, and I was like, no, he like actually has his own on base, and there is no team. Like, it literally just started. It was my brainchild. But he's a huge supporter and has, been a champion of not just Base God, but, base culture, and is pretty well respected. So shout out to him and also all of the BMX community. I know there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, absolutely. These comments are awesome. Shave it. Let us see your shine, Baldy.
Who's the top 3 on the bald hit list? I mean, if we could get it done by the end of the week, across all demographics, across the world.
Well, one thing about the bald list, So again, most people there's different like targets that people have. So some people have like if we get listed on Coinbase, other people have market caps. Most of it is market cap. Some people have like, there's been other projects that have made pledges. For instance, Talent Protocol, if anyone is familiar with them, yeah, their I believe founder or someone from their team made the pledge and followed through a couple, like maybe 2 months ago, and shaved his head. So it's like really for anyone on base at this point. It's just like a fun thing. And one thing to note is that there's a lot of people who picked the round number of $100 million market cap for our project. And so we like to joke that, market makers normally are hunting liquidity and trying to hit the highs and lows and liquidate you. But for Base God, they're trying to get to your baldness target and make you shave. So there's a huge liquidity pocket at 100 million for all the people who made a pledge there. I want to say there's like at least 10. So when that is able to happen, it'll be very interesting to see everyone go bald, and it'll probably be another huge moment for the project.
Amazing. And I do also, shout out to MB, jobnotfinished.base.eth, my two favorite base projects. Thank you, Base God and BMX. Shout out to Job Not Finished. Love to see you here, man. And yeah, I am going to share my screen really quick because I do want to go through the website, basegod.fun, you guys. There's a lot of gems in here. Let me just show this real quick. I was digging for my my first tweet about thank you Base God. The first thing I posted in relation to base and thank you Base God, Jesse actually responded to. So I thought that was pretty interesting that, Jesse just kind of has a pulse on what's happening in the base community and thank you Base God community. So that was pretty cool. But that stemmed from me going through the website and just going through the lore. So Base Disciple, I'm not sure if you want to kind of run through like what are the different things you can see on the site here.
Yeah, so I guess to kick it off, obviously there's, it's a meme coin, so there's general information around like our project as far as like, the TYBG token and the NFTs. But we have a lot of other information on here just to catch people up on the history. Like I mentioned, there are plenty of people who don't even know that like Brian has interacted with the project or that we were the ones who coined the talk less, build more phrase that Base uses all the time.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like that was us. The fact that we won Base Hunt for Coinbase Wallet last year, which hasn't come back. I don't know why. I guess like I don't know. Maybe it will at some point, but that was for ETH Denver last year, and we were the only meme coin that was set up as a guild, as a team on Base Hunt, and we ended up winning that, which is really cool. And then there's just some other fun like history stuff that you can find on the site. But
this is where I joined right here, the Base Meme Summit.
Yeah, that was for Onchain Summer, which by the way, it's May 20th. So Onchain Summer, I'm sure, is going to come roaring back, and we'll have to see what's up. We have some things that probably next month are going to be ready that we could talk about in a bit. But
I'm very excited.
Yeah, we've done we did the meme summit. We've done some NFTs that people were able to mint. And the cool thing about this project is, I mean, not the only cool thing, but one of the cool things is that we, there's no like, again, no centralization or like treasury or money being generated off of a lot of the things that you see on this page. Like everything's for free. So for instance, like many projects will take a royalty on their NFTs. We have a 0% royalty. I mean, that's like easily 6 figures that could have been generated for creator rewards off of the NFT volume. And ours is 0%. All of our art mints have been free. There's never been taxes on the token. Everything's just around like community and seeing how far we can take it together. So as you see, there's a lot of creativity that people have had. We have like an Instagram filter where people are able to make their head bald. I don't know if it's still live. It might not be.
I've never tried these.
Yeah. So people basically were able to like see what they would look like in Valhalla.
By the way, real quick, Pentwise says he sees his artwork here.
Yeah. So Pentwise, shout out to Pentwise. He's been a long time disciple. He's created really great work.
Which one is his?
If you scroll down, so he's done, or sorry, you might have, it might be up further. There's a shrine contest. Yeah, it's up further. There it is on the left. There was a shrine contest where people were able to make like real life shrines related to the project. And then they would mint it on our mint board where we can have everything on chain and other people can collect it. They can earn rewards as NFTs. And
That
so
is so cool.
Ian, I guess, some of his friends, family,
They're
were
like in the
jungle.
jungle. They're
Yeah.
out there.
Like they're in the jungle. They have like a bunch of paintings of, some of those are PFPs for like our mods in the Telegram community. And yeah, they just set up a shrine in the jungle, which is like the most insane thing that I could have imagined. Like
Cat in the Hat.
I
Cat with
envisioned
hat.
that it would be like, oh, like, people make just a silly little like thing in the corner of their bedroom or something and like post it. But no, this was like all out, like, yeah, really impressive.
Whoa.
And the fun thing, so a cool part of the lore, and we posted about this a couple days ago on Twitter. There's, for whatever reason, there's like a real base god, like disciple to base employee pipeline. So we've had a couple people that started as like disciples and then got hired by the base team. So one is David, who you've probably seen.
Really?
Yeah, so David
Whoa,
was,
shout out to David. We love David.
yeah, so he was actually the first person to make a base god shrine. And he started
Wow.
this like competition that we ended up making. But he was working, I forget which company he was at, but in his office he made like a really simple like a bottle of lotion, because we always say stay moisturized.
Yeah.
And from there, like, we all decided to make shrines. So David made it to the base team. Crypto Statuette, who I'm sure you know.
Yep. She was very active in the community. I remember.
Yeah, so she made it to the base team. Recently, I think Nick is his name, who is the Singapore country lead for base.
Mhm.
He was a disciple.
I got to meet him at the Coinbase offsite
awesome.
last week. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So he was a disciple, and
we have a call tomorrow, actually.
Yeah. And he actually, shout out to him. He got us a presence at Token 2049 last year. He sort of like ran with things as like a representation for our community.
Well, listen, we can do that this year too. I mean, we're talking tomorrow, and we're going to be brainstorming ways to continue growing base in the APAC regions. And I feel like Thank You Base God really is just an essential culture project on base that should be carried into these things. Whoop, we lost base disciple. I got two base in here.
We're going to hear the sound of a razor.
He's going to come back shaving his head. I'm going to just drop in the link again real quick. We lost him, you guys. In the meantime, there he is. Okay.
I don't know what happens, but
D-Sub, you're going to come back and we're going to hear the sound of a razor.
No, I literally, like, it just like my screen reloaded. But yeah, no, I mean, if there's anything for like live events, obviously I'm anonymous, and I think some people, I have strong opinions on anonymity in crypto. Number one, I think like it sucks because you can't. I would love to be like a face of the project, and I'd love to go to events and like all that stuff, but it's just not. I think it kind of takes away from the project itself when people are like cheering for a person versus a project for what it is. I don't need people like understanding all of, like, I don't want to be the main reason that people believe. I want it to be like the project stands on its own. That's number one. Number two, there's like safety and stuff when you're a crypto founder. But yeah, what really sucks is that like you can't go to live events. So I kind of have to depend on people who are.
Yeah. I'll go for you, base disciple. I'll maybe I'll do some printouts, like Pentwise did. Yeah, maybe I'll do something like that.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, one thing that we could talk about is next month there's Memecoin and NFC Lisbon.
Yeah.
And Trippy is actually going to go and represent the disciples. So
whoa, that is so cool.
Yeah, we're sponsoring. There's like a sponsorship package for NFC Lisbon, which we're gonna think of some fun. If anyone has ideas, by the way, we can generate some like in the Telegram chat, some fun ideas for like activations or things we can do on site. If someone wants,
we should have a conversation about it. I know, Froggy and some of the others from their team.
Nice. So yeah, Trippy's going to go and represent us. And then also next month, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get these desk toys finally shipping to people. So for anyone who's unaware, if you go on Twitter, there's a picture a couple days ago of bobbleheads and sort of like figurines that are base god, and those are going to be free for any holders and while supplies last. I don't know how many people are going to redeem them, but it'll be totally free. And yeah, you can just get a free desk toy. This idea came from Sebastian Bia, who is the head of Coinbase Asset Management, and he's been super active and engaged over the past several months within the Base God community. Shout out to him. He does really insightful talks. I think like Mondays, every Monday, Coinbase Asset Management does a live stream that he runs, and he was like, "Hey, like we should have bobbleheads," and we were like, "Cool."
I would love one on my desk. I would
Yeah.
seriously love that. We have a question from the audience asking, only NFT holders or token holders?
Everyone, token holders. Doesn't
Everyone.
matter if you have one single token, but yeah, it'll be for everyone. And again, a big thing with the project is equity and fairness, and you don't have to, like, we don't have any limits usually around community events and fun things that we do. It's not like you have to hold a certain amount or any weird stuff like that. As long as you're a part of the community and you get through the token gate, then you're good to go. And like I said, it's free. So that's that's something hopefully to look forward to. Crazy story about that. Not crazy, but like very present and relevant. The tariffs. So the toys are being made in China, and the whole tariff drama actually impacted these toys. It costs a lot more to ship them. Let's just say that. And that's just like who would have thought like a meme coin like desk toy would get impacted by like a global trade war, but here we are. So it shouldn't be a big deal. We'll still work to get them shipped, but yeah, it's actually going to be a little bit more expensive, which is hilarious.
Wow, that's crazy. By the way, we have a lot of comments coming through. Let's see. There's just too many for me to read all of them. Deep Base. How about we have a Baldy summit in Paris? Bobbleheads. Let's see. Pentwise said, what the haha got noticed by Rachel BMX and thank you base god. OMG, all caps. Yeah, we got, okay, some older ones. I need to see my barber. But yeah, these comments are great. Keep them coming, you guys, if you have any questions. And by the way, just a reminder, we are giving away a Base God NFT on this space today live. I'll be picking a winner at the end of the space. So real quick, I'll share my screen just to show you guys what we're asking today. So step number one is going to be this post right here, you guys, the TLDW one. This short video kind of giving an overview of wBLT. If you guys can give this a retweet here, that is step one to qualify for the giveaway. And we'll be going over step two here shortly. So, Deez, before we open this up and, start bringing some other folks up to ask questions, do you have anything that you want to run through, any questions or any topics you want to cover?
No, just happy to give the floor over, to be honest. I mean, you can find, of course, the Thank You Base God collection on Base Media X, of course. Some alpha on the BMX side, as we do have a visual UI revamp coming to the marketplace here in, probably soon. TM, couple, maybe week, 2 weeks out. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, just keep following. We're building all the time. Nothing too crazy today, but a lot right around the horizon. So just happy to explore Valhalla.
Awesome. And we'll be doing these streams every week, you guys. So this is the first live stream for Let's Ride on the BMX account. We'll be here every Tuesday. So very excited to make this a regular thing. And we got a lot of folks from the audience, from the community coming up. We got Trippy. We got Just Onchain. We got Spiral. And I know Trippy has to jump, so I'm going to pass it off to Trippy next. Trippy, how you doing today?
Everything good. Hello, everyone.
We love you, man.
So I'm just a community member, disciple. and yeah, doing great stuff for this awesome brand, religion, like everything. It really resonates with me.
What's the first thing that drew you into the Thank You Base God community? Do you remember what that indoctrination moment was like for you?
Well, the first of things was the vibes on Telegram. It was really positive and without many noise that we see in other chats. So that was a plus. Um, and also, I study a lot the lore about Base God, and for some reason, I have some radical thoughts. And I was a hairy person with very long hair, and I don't know why something resonated with me, and I went straight bald. So yeah, every week now I'm in Baldhalla.
Yeah, shout out to Trippy for going bald for the love of the game. He didn't even have like a that
Wow.
was it. He was just like, look, I'm all about this. And yeah, that's always impressive and great to see, and that helps spread the good energy.
So, are you the only person in the community trip? I mean, other than, Jesse, but just out of pure love for the community, are you one of the only ones that have gone bald, or are there others?
There's a couple. If you go on the website, it's basegod.fun/bald, and you can see the list of people who have done it. There were some like early last year that did it for the love of the game too. There's some who had their target hit and made like really good videos about it. So you can check those out on the website. And Trippy, I think obviously Trippy's up there as well on that list. And we'll probably rework the site to be a little bit more like to highlight those people a little bit more. I think we could do a better job there. And even like for Jesse, when Jesse did it, there was an NFT mint that went along with it, which is, I can't believe we didn't talk about this. There was a fundraising event as a part of that. So the Base had an NFT for him going bald that they had released. And also Meowfosaurus gave away or had an auction for a Base God NFT for one of ones. And in total, it was something like, I want to say like 30 grand that was raised. And that was donated to Susan G. Komen for cancer research. So that was like super cool.
I remember that. I saw that.
Yeah. So like we need
That
to
is so cool.
probably put that on the website a little bit more prominently.
Absolutely. Yes. That should be totally highlighted. It's like going from meme to actually making an impact in people's
And
lives. That
Susan
is
G.
so
Komen, and the donation was made on chain, by the way, because they accept, I forget who it was through, but they accept on chain donations. And then, yeah, like the Twitter account replied to us and was like with some hearts and stuff. If you told me like a year and a half ago, like, hey, Susan G. Komen one day is gonna be interacting with the Base God Twitter account, I would not believe you almost as much as I wouldn't believe Brian doing it. I'd probably believe Brian doing it before Susan G. Komen. But yeah, it was like a really cool experience, and that's what it's all about. Just good energy, and as the person in the comments just said, like making it organic is so much more important. And seeing how people engage with the project and keep it moving is really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to ask you, Base Disciple, like why you've chosen to have no team. That's a very interesting thing. I haven't really seen a lot of in our space. Can you kind of outline why you made that choice?
So as I mentioned, I have a lot of experience just like in the origins of memes and like trenches of 2021 to where a couple things opened my eyes. Number one is compliance is important, and it's important for Coinbase. And what I mean by that is that once upon a time, having a team for a project that didn't really have any sort of product or anything like that, or even for ones that do have products, it's a little bit of a legal gray area because of the centralization risk. And having a treasury and all that sort of stuff. Like I paid attention to what was going on with the SEC, even though I didn't like it, and a lot of people don't like it. It's still like the law was the law. And so I was like, look, if I'm going to go out of my way to launch a project, like I want to make sure that we're, dotting our I's, crossing our T's, and we don't get screwed along the way. One of the ways to just guarantee that, not guarantee, but just about guarantee that you're not encroaching on any like weird legal areas is to not have a team altogether and just go full organic. I mean, if you look at like Doge, for instance, or Shiba, like sure, somebody, even Bitcoin, like Satoshi was in the forums and like trying to, you know, promote the project and stuff. Obviously someone has to get off the ground. But a lot of the great memes and great projects just get bigger than a team. And that was always my dream, of having something that was like autonomous, where you have people willing to raise their hand. That's like real belief and real staying power to me, is people are willing to raise their hand and say, I want to just actually run with this because I believe in it. And so it's sort of like a challenge to myself. That's number one. Number two, I don't really like the idea of, as we had mentioned with, you know, the NFTs and royalties and, you know, having like requirements for people to get the desk toys and all that stuff. I don't like people feeling like there's a outsider versus insider dynamic within a meme coin. That was never something that I liked in projects that I was a part of. So when you have a team, there's like this, you know, potentially like smoky back room where like decisions are being made and you have to like trust and rely on people, which is totally the antithesis of crypto. Like we're supposed to be trustless. We're supposed to just have something that, hey, liquidity is burned and there's no treasury or token taxes or insiders or anything like that. And we can just, the project is what it is, right? So I like the idea that there's never a dynamic of like the team is doing things behind closed doors and then there's the holders who are separate from the team. I like it better when everyone's just a holder and we sort of keep it chill.
Awesome. I totally agree. I think what you've done has really worked for your community. And I am curious, we have some other folks here. We got Spiral here. Spiral, if you have any questions or anything you want to add here, feel free.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. First of all, yeah, I want to say that I remember like Base God since I joined Base, and it's one of the most like I guess like memes with the biggest laws that I've seen before. It was like kind of a bit like cryptic law, like it's something that I really love because it's like really feeling like internet culture that you kind of have to dive into it and like check. Once you check the website and you see like for example, they unpack the law page when you can see all the law and like all the terms, like the community moments, the positive terms, the negative terms, and like that stuff really turns you into it. And like, you know, seeing that like you guys are running it by the community and the community is like doing so much to push this project further, it's like something that I didn't see before, honestly. And I even remember like some of the moments like that was really got me curious is when like the Meow burned the 666 like NFT,
Yeah.
the base god. That was like a really cool moment that I remember seeing like live, and I was like, wow, they're really going in for it, because back then the flow price was really high and like it was just a unique timing. I had a small question regarding BMX. I was kind of curious, especially after the latest like post. I was curious to learn a bit more about like wBLT, wMLT, and wSLT. Like I understand a little bit about like the wrap version of it, but I was curious how you can use how you can use them and which one is better to use for different platforms and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. So just quickly, anyone who has serious or similar curiosities, that retweet that people are doing right there, there's a full version that's right underneath it that links to the YouTube, and it goes deep dive into wBLT. And we're actually releasing a part 2 next week, and we'll have a lot more literature on Medium as well. But yeah, it really is kind of the flagship token, the utility token of BMX as far as utility goes, is using it across DeFi and something that we feel comfortable you know, really promoting as something that can be a cornerstone of anyone's portfolio, as an educational, of course, exploration. But it's half stables and then it's roughly half blue chips. So a lot of it's BTC and ETH. And so people are holding all three of those assets in general naked. wBLT allows you to combine all these and then harness the growth that comes through Base, all the trading fees and of course fees that come out of Base Media X and the perpetual platforms, all of that kind of feeds those tokens, as well as BMX stakers as well get involved in that. So yeah, look into it. There's a lot more details on it. As far as WSLT and then other versions of it, there's one on Mode as well. Those are just on other chains. So if you do a lot of activity over there, it's the same mechanism. So it's a Yearn vault essentially. If anyone is familiar with Yearn, it was built by a Yearn engineer, and so it just it compounds those fees of the assets within. And so if you're on other chains using those assets, so on Sonic you have S in there. It's a great place to get more utility out of the tokens and not necessarily have to look at markets going up or down. We think it's a lot more comfortable just holding it and riding the wave of the activity, whether it's high activity or low activity. It captures all that value in the activity without trying to buy bottoms or sell tops. So, but anyway.
Absolutely. Hey, real quick, I want to comment, you guys. I know Trippy has to jump, but Trippy just wants to share a few final words before we wrap up here. And real quick, step 2 of the giveaway, you guys are going to comment TYBG on the podcast that you retweeted. TYBG. And Trippy, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah. So in the beginning, was just a holder, and I think many people, for example, buy the token are just holders, and it will be a huge difference to understand the culture and the lore of Base God, and it's like converting a holder into a real disciple, and it's a game changer. And I will be pleasure to be talking on the stage about Base God during Memecoin and representing this huge community. Really love it.
And I would love to come support you. That sounds awesome. Congratulations on that. That's a big honor getting to speak at Memecoin. I feel like, you know, I got to speak there in Thailand when we were in Bangkok, and their level of organization, production, everything was just extremely well done. So that's a big honor.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Base God.
Thank you, Base God. And yeah, just to reiterate, you guys, we are giving away a Base God NFT live today. And by the way, Trippy, thank you so much for being here today. If you have to jump, that's totally fine. We're just going to go into the giveaway, and I'm going to select a winner here shortly, you guys. So Trippy, thank you so much. We might have just Onchain joining us again. I'm not sure if he jumped back into the waiting room. I know he lost internet if he's back in. Okay, real quick, just going to share my screen and show you guys what we need to do for the giveaway. Sorry, one sec.
Yeah,
and D's while I'm doing this, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be on that same tweet that's being retweeted. So that TLDW of the wBLT video. But yeah, Rachel will have a walkthrough here. Oh, we're muted.
Oh, sorry. So I'm sharing my screen now, and as you guys are about to see, it'll show once we get my screen up here. One sec. Yeah, so this one here, BMX Unwrapped. So episode 1 of this goes into a deep dive of wBLT. So looks like 31 of you have reposted this, have retweeted. That was step 1. Step 2, you're just going to write TYBG. You can do it like that. You can do all caps, doesn't matter. Just TYBG in the comments. And yeah, we'll start watching those come through right now. No one has done it yet. So you guys, this is step 2. For those of you watching live, I'm not sure how many folks we got here, but yeah, now's your chance. If you want to win a Thank You Base God NFT, just comment TYBG on this post. I'm refreshing to see if anyone's done it. We got one from Maximus Miglis, Spiral, Bruce Wayne, Dry Tortuga, Schreider. Okay, they're coming in. Wow, they are really coming in. Okay, awesome. Well, you guys still have a little bit of time. We're going to probably spend about like 10 more minutes here. So you got about 10 minutes to do step 2, and I will announce the winner live at the end of the stream. So, oh, we got someone saying after the stream, I might need to shave my head. That's a good sign. That's a bullish sign today, you guys. Yeah, so while we wait for the TYBGs to come through, Base Disciple, if you have anything else you want to go through, feel free. Any calls to action or anything coming up for your community that you're excited about?
Yeah, I think we've touched on a lot of the stuff that, is in the works and heading into the summer. I think, my advice for anyone, obviously, like, we're in a super weird time in the market, and, we try to ignore
Totally.
prices and all that stuff, but it's a weird time. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's like vibes should be higher than they currently are. Like, I think there's a lot of, energy that was sort of sapped earlier in the year for a variety of reasons. But, what I always tell people is, crypto is a marathon. I think a lot of people come in and think that overnight or in a couple weeks or months they're going to reach their wildest dreams and goals, and like, that's just not how this works. And if you're building something of substance, or even if you're just a holder and you're participating in something, it takes time and it takes positivity. Like, we don't control outcomes, or we don't control all of the things that might happen on Base or in crypto, but the best thing that people can do is even just sending like a fun tweet a day or a positive message in Telegram. All that stuff is really motivational to people who are involved and people who see it. And then, when you stick around and when energy comes back into the market, you would want your community and your project to be represented well. So that's sort of what I have to say about that. I think people get like quiet sometimes, and I get it. Like, I know why. I'm not delusional, but you just have to be like relentlessly active, positive, and you'll probably put yourself in a better position than if you weren't. Let's just put it that way.
So I agree. I mean, I really like the quote, less talking, more building, right? Or talk less,
Yeah.
build more. And I feel like also staying optimistic, putting the team over the individual, pushing the boundaries of creativity, like the core principles of Base. I mean, those were the original things on the Base Summit or the Beam Summit back during Onchain Summer that made me want to stick around, that really opened my eyes to what the Base community is and why I'm bullish on it. So yeah, I totally agree. Staying optimistic, staying positive. And also another thing I wanted to mention to you, Base Disciple, we were talking on this earlier, where you mentioned like some people feel like the Base team doesn't talk about them enough or share about what they're doing. And my kind of word of advice to these projects is, if you are building your entire strategy as a project to be dependent on amplification, rework that strategy. Look at how you can be a success standing alone, and don't expect anything, right? Just do the right thing and keep showing up and working hard. That kind of stuff will come, but do not make it absolutely dependent for your success, because then there's an issue there where it's putting unnecessary pressure on the team, and you're not going to get amplification that way.
Yeah, one thing I can say to that is, obviously, like, our project is extremely privileged to have so many engagements with Coinbase employees and executives and all that stuff. But back when we first launched, like, Base got launched, and I told everyone in the community, I was like, look, we're gonna try and get Jesse's attention, but like, there's zero expectation, or like, even though we think it's advantageous to support this project or support memes or whatever, that doesn't mean that like we're owed anything. And if you come into crypto or really anything in life with a mindset, not to get on a soapbox, but like, if you come in with a mindset of I'm owed something or like whatever, it's probably just going to make you more frustrated. And I've told even like, for people who have engaged with us, I've told them directly, like, look, if this was the last time that you ever like said something nice about our project, like, I accept that. And like, I'm just happy that you were even willing to go out of your way.
Long for the ride. Yeah.
The same goes for holders, for people who, we were talking about Pentwise, who made that shrine, or for Trippy, who's going to MemeCon and stuff. Like, I just appreciate that. And I think everyone should appreciate those things as they happen in real time, because you never know what's going to happen after that. And you never know if it's going to be a whole year since like Brian interacts with the project or whatever. Like, just accept it for what it is.
Totally. Yeah, it's like going after that. Like, I've seen projects comment like, you guys aren't supporting us enough. That's not how you get people excited and like share like positive energy about what you're doing. I don't know. Just
and
don't
also,
have any
like,
be grateful, Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Like, I think there's plenty of it's one thing to say, hey, I think the strategy for Base should be XYZ, or if I was in charge, I would do XYZ. But the bottom line is like, you got to control what you can control. You can have opinions about strategy and what might make sense. Everyone has opinions, but you aren't in control of anything. So like, I would just say, like, as we go through the summer and hopefully get another crack at like a fun on-chain summer, focus on what you can control. If you're not someone who is able to, do what Trippy is doing, or go create a shrine, or you just don't have the time on your hands or the motivation to do that, even just a positive post, like I said, a positive tweet, something that's just the ticker, even that, like just the ticker for a coin that you hold or something that you want to support, that goes a really long way for people to stay active. And like try to do like these little pushes are what eventually make the whole thing go into motion. So it's a marathon, and you got to just keep like pushing, and like, what else are you gonna do? Like sitting and complaining. One of our commandments in the project is like thou shalt. And the
I
main
love that. We should go through those before we end today.
Like the main reason for that one is like one of my biggest pet peeves, and I found a lot of success in. Oh, I love that spiral.
Whoa, spiral just got a little pixelated. Thank you, Base God. Yes.
One of my biggest like pet peeves, and something that I learned in 2021 was like, complaining does nothing. It just absolutely does nothing for you. And I get it. Like, people will be all mopey about like token prices or whatever, and like, it literally, just keep it to yourself at least. We all feel it. We all see it. We're all in the same team, and we're all in the same boat. But when you articulate and like say things out loud that are taking a jab potentially at someone who is working hard, it doesn't really help them, right? It doesn't motivate them. And so it kind of goes without saying, like, complaining is a turnoff for new holders who are looking at potentially joining a project. It's a turnoff for the builders who are actually trying to focus on making a positive experience for you that you might not be putting a ton of work into yourself, which is totally fine, by the way. Like, you don't have to put work in, but like, at least keep negativity to yourself sometimes, and it'll all work out in the end. So yeah, that's one of my favorite commandments. And I threw that in there very intentionally.
I love that.
I never, like, in 2021, I never complained or like publicly, like, all I did was figure out how I could help projects that I was a part of.
And be positive, and supportive. I feel like that is the base way, and that is the way we all make it. That, as individuals and projects, right? You have to stay positive. You have to stay optimistic. And Base Disciple, do you mind going through the commandments that you put together too?
Yeah, sure. So the first, I don't know if I have the order memorized, but I know there's thou shalt be on chain is the first one I want to talk about, because Jesse actually came up with that one. Initially,
I'm trying to find where it is on the website so I can screen share.
If you scroll down on the homepage.
Let me see. Let's share screen. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is what I posted, by the way. It's just Charlie Day looking crazy on the Pepe Sylvia episode. That was my first post about the Base God.
Yes. So if you go to the home screen, like if you click on the logo on the top left, and then scroll down, and keep going.
Oh, wow. They're right here. Okay.
So the first one is, well, this is an important one. So treating people with respect, making sure that there's like equality and equity. A good example of this, that's sort of the way that this tends to manifest itself in meme coins. Even if you have like a positive community, there's a lot of meme coins that might do, like, maybe they have like a whale chat or something like that, right? Where there's like a secret club or a secret chat for people who hold a certain amount of the tokens. And that's something that we've never done in Base God and will never do, because it is not really like the vibe of the project, right? Like everyone's equally a part of this. And so, treating people with respect, not infighting, and not creating like any sort of friction with each other is super important. And I think part of the reason that people, when they come to Telegram, when they come to Twitter and they see us posting, they normally engage, because it's like, oh, this is like a really chill place. Like, we're not, spamming a bunch of stickers, which, by the way, is fine, but we're not like spamming up our chat. Like, we're just kind of like sharing jokes here and there, staying in touch, like, and as energy picks up, we'll be more active. But that's the first one. The second one, like I said, this was Jesse's, thou shalt be on chain, creating content, whether it's memes, apps, posts, We've had a ton of stuff that's been created. Get Plucked, we didn't talk about. Get Plucked is an on-chain game that was created in tandem with B3. Anyone who knows B3, they're ex-Base, ex-Coinbase.
Awesome.
Again, that's another thing where like they just liked the project and decided to make an offering in the way of helping build a game. So they teamed up with Anomaly and they created Get Plucked, which has like 150,000 plays or something like that. And there's probably going to be some updates coming soon with Get Plucked, so stay tuned for those. The third commandment is don't complain, which is like my personal like biggest one. Just focus on what you can do to push the project forward. And then lastly, this is a little bit of tongue in cheek, a little bit of a joke, which is thou shalt not commit adultery. So this is obviously like one of the original 10 commandments. So it's like an anti-joke because it just sounds ridiculous in this context. But what that means for our community is typically like stay loyal, make sure that you're supporting the project. You don't turn your back on base God, which is like a running joke that we have. If you turn your back on him, then he'll turn his back on you. So you have to stay true B. You always have to face his direction wherever he is on earth, which is like a ridiculous task. But yeah, you always have to face him and not turn your back. So those are the four, and they've been tried and true for the entire lifetime of the project. So really cool to see people adopt them and take the mentality to heart.
Absolutely. Yeah, these are awesome. For some reason, I thought thou shalt stay moisturized was one of these. I don't know why. Mentally, I just like inserted that in here.
It's not one. So the moisturized thing happened that I don't even like when the project first launched, there was a hype video, which it's like a now banned hype video that was on the website and we took it down. But it's, for whatever reason, it was like a narrative for the project. If you scroll up, the text is still there, right there. That from the dawn of crypto, blah blah blah. And if you look in like, I think I forget where it is. Yeah, in the middle, like with the power of base in the palm of his well moisturized hands. I don't know why I made up that video and that text. I don't know why I said moisturized hands, but it kind of stuck as just like a running joke. And so
I would love to show this video. I don't know if the audio.
You can find it in Telegram. This video is not the original one. Okay. The original one you can find in Telegram. Anyone who wants to see it, it's over the top. And it also, we don't look. This is a parody project. Everything is loosely based on actual sort of like cultural things, but we don't want to use people's real names. We don't want to use people's real photos. And so that first video had some real pictures of people that we didn't want to include. So you can find it in Telegram. It still floats around out there, but it was completely ridiculous, and that's where the moisturized joke comes from.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, for whatever reason, I did think it was a commandment. But yeah, that's good to know. And yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the website, this video I saw this a long time ago. It's hilarious. Pentwise is also saying it's on Uplink as well. And yeah, I do want to give a shout out to over 1,500 viewers that we have, you guys. Base is a lifestyle. Super excited to see everyone doing the giveaway. And I am going to take a minute to go and, select a winner. So I'm not sure if you guys have anything you want to share about. Maybe on Deez's side, if you have anything that you want to go through as far as what the coming weeks will look like, any BMX updates, feel free.
Yeah, stay tuned for some governance coming up. If any of you guys are in the Discord, we've been chatting about an upcoming DEX. So a central piece of that will probably be, it will be wBLT. So that's why we're pushing out so much educational content there. So just make sure you follow us, keep updated. And then as soon as we push out a little bit more content, we'll activate a community workspace, actually. So if you're in the Discord, you want to get involved, we want to make sure we have stuff available for low-hanging fruit to participate in the growth of BMX and the ecosystem. But then once people get their feet wet, then they can maybe take on more initiatives on things. I just remember how all of us that work in crypto, we started somewhere, right? Whether it's coming from a meme culture or maybe you're in the DeFi summer class. We have to remember we're bringing people on chain every day. A lot of new folks. And I think half the battle and half the responsibility is giving back ways, not just, you know, products that we love and we want to deliver, but also ways that people can, you know, climb this ladder and get involved. I think we shouldn't forget that we access every corner of the earth with this industry. And so we want to make sure we give those verticals for people to participate and get involved and yeah, just build and grow together. It's not just a meme. It's actually happening as we speak.
Awesome. Well, listen, I do want to give a huge shout out to everyone who tuned in. And I know we're way over time here, but I feel like for the first Let's Ride live stream, this was just a very fitting moment to celebrate. Thank you, Base God. My first community on Base that I got involved with, which has led me to, like, you know, almost a year of my life now being involved, starting a company on Base, doing Onchain media. So very grateful for the Thank You Base God community for welcoming me with open arms. And yeah, just very excited to now give away a Thank You Base God, a Base God NFT. So yeah, for everyone tuning in, thank you everyone who retweeted the post, who commented, who did all the things we asked. So I put these posts into a random picker, an X picker, and I'll share my screen and just show you guys who the winner is today. I don't have a soundboard to do drum roll, but here we go. Congratulations, Henry the Great .base.eth. Congratulations. Thank you for retweeting the BMX podcast, for commenting, thank you, Base God, and for staying on the stream till the end. You've done all the things, my friend, and thank you so much for your support. This is someone who is a big supporter in our communities. And yes, we love you all. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If I could give you all a Base God NFT, I would. Like, honestly, just seeing all the comments, posts come through, like, just thank you all so much for participating today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome. And yeah, we can just wrap it up from here. Thank you everyone again for tuning in. And Spiral, thank you for joining. Deez, excited to do these with you every week. And Base Disciple, of course, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, see you guys around, obviously.
All right.
Thanks so much, guys.
See you in the trenches.
Bye.